This is the AirPods Pro 3. Is it worth your money? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Koji CEO. Welcome to ConvinceMeAudio. This is the latest release from Apple, the most popular headphone on the planet, according to their numbers. Well, we review the summit tier of hi-fi equipment, and let's see. The caliber of sound quality is classified as the best-selling product of all time where headphones are concerned. Let's begin. Picking this up at the Apple store on Friday, so I've had about 4 days with it now. It's been running consistently, so it's been breaking in for the last 50 hours or so, and it changed considerably. Out of the box, it was quite sharp, it was not pleasant, so I do recommend, if you do pick one of these up, don't judge it out of the box. Okay, first and foremost, in the box we get a very clean Apple-esque box, obviously. I mean, it's their sort of party trick these days. Very little in the box at all, very light packaging, and some extra tips this time around. Let's place that there, let's put that there, let's get rid of that. You're going to throw that in the bin anyway. Instead of 3, we get 5 tips now, from very small all the way up to medium large. I've seen much larger tips, giggity, especially when it comes to the audiophile category of stuff. The material of the tips has changed somewhat. It's a bit more rubbery and a bit more matte feeling at the same time, so it sticks to the ear canal. Takes about 10-15 seconds to warm up, then it will seal the ear canal very nicely. So noise cancellation is assisted by those tips, definitely. This is the case itself. Slightly bigger than the AirPods Pro 2 to me. It's been a while. I gave my AirPods Pro 2 to a family member. Once I had it for a while, I was done with it pretty much. This now carries up to 30 hours of consistent listening. Once you put the AirPods back in, they last 8 hours from the original 5.5, 6 hours. 10 hours with transparency mode and hearing aid functionality. That is something that will bring us on to the biggest aspect of the AirPods line for Apple users. You get a very large, extensive list of software and functionality that comes with this. First of all, the interesting one for me was the hearing test, as you can see on screen. 5 minutes it took. Unfortunately, I've not lost any of my hearing, little to none, which is wonderful, but it's quite extensive and it works very well. You do have to sit very still in a quiet environment and tap the screen every time you hear the beeps. It goes from 4K, 2K, 1K from memory. It tries to focus predominantly on the treble and mid-range and the upper bass response rather than the sub-bass more than anything. So that was quite interesting. Then you got the spatial awareness and head tracking on this unit, which was part of the AirPods Pro 2, which makes video watching and film watching very interesting, especially the head tracking aspect where, for example, the vocals are coming from there, and as you turn this way, it still stays there. It's quite interesting, an interesting gimmick, though it does open up the stage considerably when you listen to that, when you watch videos in that manner, and sometimes it gets very annoying, especially if you're turning around like this and the sound is coming from behind you. It honestly feels like it's coming from behind you, and that is quite intriguing, but you can fortunately switch it on and off. The adaptive mode for this has been quite exciting as well. So using it in the gym, noise cancellation works very well. It's definitely more isolating than the previous generation. The tips I think are helping a bit, and so are the microphones, etc., including the software, because I run very fast on the treadmill and I stomp, and that stomping sound was completely eliminated. And with the adaptive mode switched on, as my buddy walked up to the treadmill and talked to me, the music went down, and it was very seamless. A very, very nice way of doing that. Very impressed. The transparency mode, I don't think is as good as AirPods Pro 2. I find it a little harsh in the treble region where between 6 and 8K, it feels a bit crunchy. So for example, if you're running the tap or something, it feels like stepping on ice. It's a bit weird. I hope they fix that with the software updates that are going to be coming for this thing. But the rest of the frequency for transparency mode is absolutely superb. It's pretty much almost like not having anything in your ears. The cabin pressure on this thing is bar none. It's fantastic. There isn't any of it, especially with that really strong noise cancellation. The Sony ones suffer from that significantly from memory. So that's another good perk, but it does tend to isolate very, very well now. Full specifications of the IEMs running down the screen, as you can see. So they got this high excursion driver. They don't say what type it is. They say the high dynamic amplifier. That's basically like saying chicken and cheese. Is it cooked? Is it barbecued? Nobody knows. It's basically a generic Apple way of telling you what's inside the thing, which is basically nothing. The drivers, I think, in this might be beryllium. Because of the snap and the attack and the speed, I've only heard from beryllium through all the other headphones, as you can see on the wall we review here. It's very responsive. I will swing back around to some of the other functionalities as they crop up, obviously, because if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you've got cool things like you pick up your iPhone, it's fine, music's playing. Then you go to your iPad and do something, and your Mac, the sound will carry with you, and it will switch seamlessly without you having to do anything. And the connection process is a piece of piss as well. Like, you just lift the lid, that's it. The device is there. Find My is really good. When you drop this, when this goes behind the couch, etc., you can literally track it due to the, is it the U1 chip and the H2 chip? Everything's working nicely together. Up to, I think the previous measurement was like 12 inches, which is really good. You'll basically be able to find it. There's a speaker also inside this, so you can ping it. MagSafe, charging, wireless charging, superb. Most importantly is sound, and that's what this channel focuses on. Okay, is it any good? It's genuinely better than AirPods Pro 2. It is better than AirPods Pro 2. It's a very clean sound. I'm surprised by the depth of the bass, by the speed of the driver, by how resolving it is. In fact, I think this actually sounds better than the AirPod Max by quite a bit. And it's surprising how large the sound field is, not only in the stage, but in the size of instruments and how open everything is. Yes, it's completely artificial. It doesn't sound realistic. Obviously, the frequency response is done very, very well, especially when you go into the accessibility settings. Go into the accessibility setting and switching on headphone accommodation and turning the vocals rather than balanced gives this a richer, slightly warmer mid-range sound. It's very good for electronic music. It's very impactful, digs very low. The overtones and undertones of harmonics around the frequency response is not very good. It's an Apple product. I mean, it just sounds very digital and contrived. The frequency is very nice, but it will never give you the feeling this is a proper, realistic sounding headphone. You won't kind of listen to Billie Eilish. You won't listen to Adele and go, oh, she's right there in front of me. No. That's for the headphones we review here. And to be fair, this is not designed for that. This is designed to give you nice music, good for on the go, good for training, good for the gym, good for running in the rain. Actually, is IP57 now. So you can deluge this without any problems. So rain is not an issue. Heavy sweat is not an issue. You can't dunk it in water though. As far as I know, you can't swim with it. But for rain, etc., it should be completely fine. I just can't get over how clean it sounds. The treble region can get a little bit spicy. It is a bit crunchy, obviously, but like I mentioned, when you take it out of the box and you actually use it for about 30-40 hours, that tends to break in quite nicely, but it's still giving you that sort of, it's not lossless Bluetooth, by the way, it's still giving you that sort of slightly etchy sound, but it has improved significantly from the moment I took it out of the box. It's definitely a better product than the AirPods Pro 2 in its sound, in its bass, in its mid-range, and in its treble. It's definitely a bit more refined, a bit clearer, better dynamics, but it's still a digital sound. But this will be enough for you, especially if you're traveling on a plane, on trains, and if you're running outside, you don't want to take, I don't know, $10,000 IEM with you, right? Ease of use, convenience. I think having this in your life will probably make you use those other products far less because it's always in your ears and it's just so freaking convenient. So should you buy this? I think if you're in the market for a Bluetooth headphone, you will find none better as an overall. There will be some with better sound. There will be some that will have a slight aspect that is probably a bit above this, but you will not find a product on the market that is, I think, works so well with the Apple ecosystem, that fits the ear so well, that is so comfortable, and a world-class noise cancellation that doesn't make you feel like somebody's squeezing your eardrums. And the sound is pretty decent. So yes, 4 tigers out of 5 from CMA. Well done. This definitely is a win. All right, what about the hi-fi product? Well, it's a wired product when you compare it to something like this, and that will be something from IO, like some of the units we've reviewed on the channel, which will be linked after this one. Same price, none of the functionality, but for sound, chalk and cheese, Ferrari and bicycle. But this has gotten a lot better. In fact, I've used it non-ironically and beyond testing for enjoyment more than the AirPods Pro 2. Well done, Apple. If you like reviews such as these, consider subscribing to the channel, comment down below, pressing the notification icon, and let me know what you think. And if there's any other of these sort of consumer-grade Bluetooth IEMs that you want me to review and compare with. We don't normally concentrate on these, like I said, but I think this one was definitely an upgrade all around for me. If you want to support the channel, consider joining Patreon, where you get to jump into the private Telegram chat, get to speak to me, get to build your hi-fi systems, and I recommend sticking around, because if this is the first time you've come across CMA, some of the products we review here, even for intrigue's sake, should tickle your fancy. Until the next one. Peace.